Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Airspeed Reads Naruto video. This one's going to be my review for Naruto Volume 66, which is called The New 3. Very nice cover on this one with the reunion of Team or Cell 7, Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke, as well as the trio of summoning animals as well. So really fitting cover for, such a big moment of like these three kind of coming back together and at the very least fighting on the same side as a trio, showing kind of what, when you really break it down, we haven't seen a lot of. This is more or less one of our first times ever seeing, Cell 7 fight together, and all of this development that they've kind of all had to a degree, and their powers at this stage, how powerful that they are as a trio, and the comparisons between them, of course, and the Sanin, who happen to be the three of their mentors. But yeah, so we cover another 10 chapters, 628 to 637, Here and Now and Hereafter, Whole, Something to Fill the Hole, Cell Number 7, A United Front, Onward, The New 3, A New Wind, The Current Obito, and The Ten Tails Jinchuriki. So overall, really important volume in that, like, yes, we get the kind of reunion of Team 7 here as Sasuke enters the war. We get a lot of continuation of the Kakashi-Obito kind of fight, conflict, and, developing Obito as a villain. We get the 4 reanimated Hokage arriving onto the battlefield, and their reactions to seeing, basically Team 7 grown up, and their interactions with stuff like the reanimated Madara and so on. It is just a very kind of solid section of the kind of war that happens here as they fight against the Ten Tails, and then the need for the Ten Tails Jinchuriki coming into play towards the end. But what we get here is obviously the result of Naruto basically giving chakra to everyone. He's beginning to kind of run low, and everyone's beginning to realize that, like, Naruto's kind of the one keeping us going. We've got to do something to kind of help him. Like, how long can Naruto last? He's powerful, but this is pushing him to the limit, and Sakura is one of the people to note that, and you can definitely see by how much more present she is throughout this kind of volume, just in panel to panel, that you can see that she's going to make some kind of decisions and kind of moves this time out. And one of the big moments that kind of spurs everyone on to act to protect Naruto when his power runs out again is that he says, "It's even more painful for me not to have any comrades in here, period." Kind of pushing back against Obito, who's kind of fighting for the idea of, like, you're fighting for the memory of your dead comrades, would you not prefer that they be, like, alive and so on? And he's basically just saying that, no, like, I fight for the memory of my dead comrades as well as the ones that are still present here. And Kakashi notes that Obito is kind of trying to confirm something through interacting with Naruto, because they're obviously very similar. And the result here is that eventually Naruto's power does kind of run out, and the Nine Tails chakra wears off from everyone. And Sakura immediately rushes over to heal Naruto and give him back some chakra, as, characters like Hinata, Shikamaru, and so on kind of try and basically hype up the army to fight, even though they don't have the protection from Naruto. But we also cut to inside the time-space dimension where Obito and Kakashi are to have their fight kind of one-on-one. And what we get here is just that Kakashi gets the instant advantage the second they get in there. He's about to, like, lightning blade Obito, but stops. And we get the idea of Obito pointing out that, are you feeling remorse over the fact that you couldn't protect Rin or keep your promise to me? And he tries to kind of point out that, like, basically, this isn't all because of Rin. That's, a huge understatement to kind of say that it's all because of that. And he actually pushes himself onto Kakashi's lightning blade. And this is really impactful because he explains that, I know Rin deliberately leapt onto your lightning blade, that she herself had chosen death. And we get the explanation that Rin, when she was what happened in that situation where we saw Obito experience the death of Rin, was actually that she had been kind of taken by one of the other nations and was made into the Three Tails Jinchuriki, and the idea was to basically send her back to the village, unleash the Three Tails, and have it attack, and basically have her be this kind of in a way, kind of bomb being sent back to the village to sacrifice it. And she made the decision, her way to protect Konoha was to kind of kill herself, and it just happened to be unfortunate that the only way to do it there and then was to kind of jump into Kakashi's lightning blade and have it kind of come across in that way. Obviously, the implication is that Obito found out much later on that this was the case, but still, he is still kind of fundamentally basing a lot of what he's kind of planning to go on from here on this stuff. But they take a different angle on this here when they say, to me, the you who couldn't protect Rin is an imposter. To me, Rin is someone who isn't dead, who isn't meant to die. Thus, the dead Rin is also an imposter. Rin is only Rin alive. The Shinobi system, the village, what created all these circumstances, and Shinobi 2, what caused me to despair is this world itself, this counterfeit world. And that's kind of what he feels at this point, that he's kind of angry and basing everything on the fact that he's like, this isn't the way it's meant to be, therefore I am saying that it's an imposter, and that the only way to fix things is to create a new world where this stuff isn't that way, and it's only the way I want it. And he's, it's this idea of like kind of fighting for like who a person really is and the situation that they're in versus this kind of fake version of kind of who they are. And the reason 2 of the chapters are relating to like hole is that obviously he's jumped onto Kakashi's lightning blade and there's just a hole in his chest and he doesn't feel anything, but there's no heart there, I suppose, is the idea. And basically Kakashi kind of makes the point that the only way to plug a hole in your heart is with the people around you, and it's a really impactful moment that we get here as we just see how kind of Kakashi has been able to do that with Minato, the 3rd Hokage, his various students, mainly Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, and that's how he's been able to continue on even though Kakashi experienced the death of Rin and Obito himself. He's been able to keep going through his other comrades that he has. Characters like Guy as well, of course, we can't forget him. But like there's a lot of other kind of notable kind of things that happen. We get, Shikamaru gets Ino to kind of communicate to him with some of the other kind of leaders in the war here and kind of come up with a plan. And it's just this idea that this is Shikamaru and Ino stepping up to kind of fill in the roles of both of their fathers who have kind of been more or less taken out at this point. And it's obviously not the best plan in that they have to come up with it on the fly, but it more or less works and at least stalls for long enough to allow the reanimated Hokage to come in and kind of change things. But we do continue with the whole idea of Kakashi relaying to Obito the most kind of important kind of line that Obito has basically said to him. In the shinobi world, those who violate the rules and laws are lower than garbage. However, those who don't cherish their comrades are even lower than that. And then he adds on this bit. And those who don't even cherish their comrades' memory are exceptionally lower, exponentially lower than that. So it's just this idea of he's feeding back to Obito what Obito once told him, but adding on the idea of like what you are doing now. That is even worse than not even kind of sticking up for your comrades in the first place, forgetting who they are and not even being willing to accept basically what they did in their death, and especially in this case of Rin, not accepting Rin's sacrifice for the village, and it coming back to it being all about that stuff with the Uchiha and how can they put their love for others can they put like they're caring for like the village above their caring for the clan, or they're caring for their loved ones, and they're kind of unable to do that, and how they're sort of relating Madara, Sasuke to Obito, but kind of taking it in a different direction as well. And he just finishes by saying, "I'm not abandoning my memory of the old you, even if it's the current you who's repudiating it." And this is when we get Minato arriving, and Naruto obviously knows that he's coming because he can now sense chakra reasonably well, and so we get this like shocked reaction of just like I suppose Sakura realizing who Naruto's father is for the first time and just kind of being shocked here. A little bit of an interaction when like Minato says like, "Is that your girlfriend healing you?" and Naruto's just like, sure, why not? It's easier to just say that it is, and Sakura gets really angry, and Minato just notes that it's kind of like Kushina. But yeah, the four Kage arrive on the scene, and we get some reactions to them here. But the main thing with this arrival is that Madara is exceptionally happy and excited to have Hashirama to fight with now, and we obviously saw that this was kind of one of the things that was driving him, just the idea of like who can give him the biggest challenge in a fight, and for the most part the only person who's ever been able to challenge him has been Hashirama, and he's here now. But Hashirama immediately says, "You come later, we're dealing with the Ten Tails first." And Madara is actually kind of willing to allow this to happen. He doesn't really interact in the fight for the most part. He's kind of just waiting for Hashirama to come at him full force. And, you know, admittedly he has to deal with some of Hashirama's, you know, shadow clones, you know, wood doppelgangers, but he just kind of deals with them really casually and just waits for the real Hashirama. But yeah, we get an important reveal here of just the fact that Minato also has the kind of Kurama chakra mode, which I would probably agree with a lot of the fandom in that, like, this is one of the biggest, like, stretches in terms of powers, in terms of just like, oh, it took Naruto all of this time to get to this state with Kurama, yet Minato, he basically died at the same moment that he connected with the other half of the Nine Tails, and that Minato, in dying, basically made himself also the Nine Tails Jinchuriki, splitting up the Nine Tails into two. But, like, where did he have the time to, like, develop to the point where he could do this? It's a little bit like, just give me some sort of an explanation for this. But obviously, I think we get into rough explanation of it later on, if I remember correctly. They do something to explain the different sides of Kurama. But either way, this is actually a chance for Minato to impress, in that his arrival, basically, he teleported the ten tails, like Biju bomb, basically away, and then he has arrived so much further ahead of the other Kage, even the second Hokage, who was the original, like, inventor of the kind of flying Raijin jutsu. And the second Hokage is very impressed with Minato and how quick he is at striking in a war, but also how fast he is. And we get the four Hokage doing a defensive technique to block off the Ten Tails, which is called Four Crimson Ray Formation, and Hashirama adds on Sage Art's Gracious Deity Gates to further hold down the Ten Tails. And it's this idea that it's dozens of times more powerful than the Four Purple Flames Formation, which was the seal that the Sound Ninja 4 put around Orochimaru during his fight with the third Hokage. So it's just establishing that the Hokage have this 4 perimeter defense that's much, much more powerful. And this is when Sasuke arrives, and we get the initial interactions of everyone seeing Sasuke again. And yeah, he basically just says, you know, a lot's happened, I've decided to protect Konoha, and then I'll become Hokage. So this is the big reveal here with Sasuke, in terms of, like, the way he's presenting himself to his friends as such. He's saying that he is the one who wants to become Hokage, and everyone's just like, what? And Naruto notes, I suppose, the problem behind this, in that everyone else is like, you can't think that everyone is just going to accept that this is what you want to do. You shouldn't expect that anyone is even going to accept you as an ally here. But they are aware of how powerful Sasuke is, so they're willing to allow him to help. But Naruto immediately realizes kind of what Itachi has said before about Hokage. You don't become Hokage in order to be acknowledged by the village. The one who is acknowledged by everyone is the one who becomes Hokage. Naruto has accomplished that, he's ticked that box, Sasuke hasn't, and is purposefully kind of trying to do it without kind of getting the respect of the other people, in that he just wants to get the position, change things, and it doesn't matter to him how the other people impact. And it's a similar situation, I suppose, to why, in a way, Madara was never selected as Hokage in the first place, in that the people realized that they could connect with Hashirama and that he would respect them, whereas Madara, there was always a sense of he was kind of too focused on himself, in a way, and kind of gaining positions and so on. But this is the reunion of Cell 7, and we get a lot of really, really cool art, just seeing the three of them kind of together, on panel together for the first time in a while. And them being back together kind of inspires all of the other teams to kind of form together as well. We get, Shikamaru's team, Shikacho. We get Team 8, which is Hinata's team, and they're also kind of all together. And we get them kind of being inspired by this as well. As Hashirama once again shows how powerful he is, just sending wood clones everywhere into the battlefield to help it work. But what they do here with the reunion of Team 7, in that Naruto and Sasuke, absolutely, you are aware that they are roughly on the same level. They've gained powers in different ways thanks to different people, and so on. But they are roughly at the same level. Sakura we haven't had as much focus on in a while. We've been aware of how powerful she has been since the time skip, but she hasn't often had a big chance to fight. So they kind of had to give her a power boost to have her be somewhat of an equal to Naruto and Sasuke. And so what they do here is they basically just say, she's like, I'm going to fight with you. I'm not just going to heal you and then let you two fight. I'm fighting with you. That Sakura feels that she is now at the point where, like Lady Tsunade, she can be the medic, but she can also be a frontline fighter, in that she's confident enough that she won't ever let herself be the first one taken out, which is, as a medical ninja, the one thing you don't want to happen in a battle. So what we get here is, just after a couple of minutes of this battle taking place, she's finally charged up enough, and we get the reveal that she has just now achieved enough energy to have the mark, the 100 healings mark, or 1000 healings mark on her forehead. And this instantly increases her power in terms of like her physical strength and so on. The cherry blossom crash stuff is all so much more powerful, and I like how they kind of showcase this in that Shizune is one of the characters to really note kind of Sakura's power, in that she says it's taken over 3 years of amassing chakra with extremely delicate chakra control to get the 100 healings mark. And so Shizune notes that even she wasn't able to do this, and that Sakura has truly become Tsunade's kind of apprentice because of this. And this has given Sakura enough power to kind of fight alongside Naruto one-on-one. She may not have the crazy energy-based jutsu that the other two have, but her healing power and pure physical strength are enough that she can fight one-on-one with basically anyone Naruto and Sasuke can. But we do get moments like Kiba using shadow clones to make this kind of three-headed dog this time out, and that's his new kind of signature technique. We get Hinata using the 64 palms, and then transitioning into, I suppose, being just about to use the gentle step twin lion fist, and just kind of noting how Naruto has allowed her to kind of help her get this kind of step ahead. We see Shikacho use their kind of triple kind of move, the yo-yo juggernaut. So this is just a kind of chance for the Naruto's classmates to kind of show themselves to be exceptionally powerful. Sai gets kind of injured when he goes in to try and impress, and they kind of note that like the 10 tails and so on, and the amount of kind of clones that it's spawning from itself is causing a lot of trouble, and we need the medical kind of team up here, but they can't come. And this is when Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke all use summoning jutsu at the same time, and we get the what do they call it, the three-way, the new three kind of type situation here, where they've all summoned their summoning animal, a snake, a frog, and a slug. And it's Auda, it's Gamakichi actually this time around, instead of his father, so that's kind of fun that Gamakichi is huge now. And Sakura has summoned Lady Katsuyu, the same as Tsunade. I'd like to know if, like, when Sakura is older, if she actually gets a kind of a separate kind of slug to herself, and it's not just Lady Katsuyu the whole time. It just because Naruto obviously has a bigger connection with Gamakichi, and Sasuke has his own snake in Aoda instead of the one that Orochimaru was using. So I don't know. I just at some point like to know if Sakura ever gets a different summoning animal. But still, really cool here, because immediately Lady Katsuyu covers like all of the healing across the entire battlefield. And the fact that she has the mark on her forehead now, she has enough power to actually maintain Katsuyu for a long time on the battlefield. And everyone again notes how powerful Sakura is, being able to do this distance healing as well and keep up enough power to do it. We get really cool team-ups like basically referring to what Yamato explained to Naruto about the interactions of different chakra natures, and that like what did Naruto take away from that? Not that, oh, my wind style will beat Sasuke's lightning style, but instead that, no, my wind style will enhance Sasuke's fire style. And we see that happen here with the combination of Rasen Shuriken and flame control with the attack, that it kind of expands out, and they do really good damage to the Ten Tails here. And we get just Minato noting how powerful it is, and as well as the second Hokage, and just this idea that Minato has this quirk of being always over-naming his techniques. He calls this new technique that Naruto and Sasuke has done Scorch Style Nimbus Gale Jet Black Arrow Formation 0. But anyway, we cut away to one of the only cutaways in the chapter to Orochimaru going to Tsunade to try and help heal her. So they, thanks to Lady Katsuyu being active, they kind of end up healing her, putting her body back together. She thanks to Karin, she's basically healed and allowed to go back to her youthful appearance. And we basically just get this idea of like Tsunade kind of reflecting on the fact that like, oh, you're actually willing to help now. If only you had done this sooner, maybe Jiraiya wouldn't have been killed. Maybe we'd all have a chance to kind of be here to see like our apprentices kind of prosper in this war. As like he notes, Orochimaru notes, perhaps that is why I want to observe Sasuke's future, while patiently waiting for his wind to blow. That Orochimaru has been really interestingly characterized recently and just kind of being presented as kind of just following Sasuke and kind of being willing to go along with any decision he makes, because he's now making decisions for himself and he's interested in that to see, I suppose, does he make more of an Orochimaru style decision, or does he side more with the village, and that interests him. And I suppose it's at this time that I suppose Tsunade, just seeing that Katsuyu is active, notes that Sakura has actually achieved the 100 healings mark and so on. We do get a slight moment though after this of just like Sasuke's here, he's helping out, it's all great, but it's not all, he's back with the team now. The whole plot is not just gone. They still have to help Sasuke get back to the right side, because they're attacking the Ten Tails, but he's like, Sasuke's being overly aggressive, and that like Naruto's like, don't go overboard or we'll hurt the other tail beasts in there, and Sasuke's just like, no, they all burn. And he's not going to listen to Naruto's kind of protests. Similarly, Sakura notes that when asked by Sai, do you really trust Sasuke, that she really wants to, but her smile is fake, and she knows that it's not all like sunshine and rainbows basically here. But what we do get as a result of this is that the 5 Kage are back active now, thanks to Katsuyu, as we go to continue the stuff with Kakashi and Obito. And we basically have this really nice moment. I think this is one of the best done moments in the anime, of just kind of flashing back between the different moments in Obito and Kakashi's life as they've kind of fought and sparred over the years, kind of obviously intercut with the present day stuff where it's super serious. And the result is obviously that they kind of have this kind of near equal exchange where Kakashi does a lightning blade straight through Obito, and then Obito gets a good hit in on Kakashi as well. But just that, he escapes at this point, leaving Kakashi in there, but is kind of badly injured. But when he comes out, it looks like what Madara is about to do is basically force Obito, thanks to Black Zetsu, to activate the Rinna Rebirth to properly resurrect Madara, so Madara can become the Ten Tails. But by the end of the volume, we get the reveal that actually Obito was able to kind of hold off the possession and actually perform the jutsu to basically make himself the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. Not before we have the reunion of Obito and Minato. And Minato finally, I suppose, getting the realization that the person he fought that night, basically the night he died, was actually Obito. He was the masked man who caused all of this. And it's this kind of really tragic moment of just like one of his pupils was the one who caused all of this. But the result at the end, of course, is that Obito has now become the Ten Tails Jinchuriki and has seemingly sort of betrayed Madara in this situation here. So it's very interesting what's happening right now. So yeah, overall very, very solid volume. The main thing obviously being the reunion of Team 7 and how they kind of go about doing that. I like the subtle kind of hints of just that Sasuke is here and he kind of wants to become Hokage, but it's in a much more kind of it's in a very different way than Naruto, and that you can tell that he has a very forceful idea of becoming Hokage, and that he's going to come in there, be leader, immediately make all these changes, and not really care about how the people react to the changes that he makes, versus Naruto, who is basically next in line in a way to become Hokage, and has the respect of everyone, and people would respect the decisions he makes. The people wouldn't respect Sasuke's decisions as Hokage, and how everyone's kind of happy that Sasuke is here, but very wary about him as well, because they don't know his true feelings about why he's suddenly changed his mind enough to fight on their side in the war, but also still kind of be the person that he is, and still kind of have this very kind of dark sense about him. But also, you know, other stuff going on in the volume, like the reveal about Rin, and more of like Obito and why he has actually changed, and that just the subtle kind of idea of just that it's not just because Rin has died, but it's that he considers the world as it is now to be kind of false, and everything that is present in the world right now is false. Kakashi is not the real Kakashi because the real Kakashi would have protected Rin. It's not reality because Rin is alive, so he kind of abandons this reality, not because Rin has died and he's upset about it, but because he rejects the idea that Rin has died in the first place. So very interesting, but that's been volume 66 of the manga. So yeah, that has been my thoughts on it. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts are on volume 66, but that's been the video for today. Thanks for watching, and bye.